Well, hello everyone. Today's video is about the object pool pattern, which is actually a very handy pattern for all kinds of applications, but especially video games. And here on this wiki, we can see a little definition or a capture of the meaning. It's a software creational, so it's a creational pattern that uses a set of initialized objects kept ready to use in a pool, rather than allocating and destroying them on demand. So what that means is you actually never destroy anything, at least the way I'm going to show you our implementation, until the end of the program, actually, when you don't need the objects in the pool any longer. So that's what it is. Let's motivate it now. Okay, now that we know what an object pool is, let's see why we might want to use one. So here I have a little pterodactyl, and he's going to shoot some eggs that he probably stole from someone's nest somewhere, the little rascal. And so here he's shooting. It looks like he's shooting a ton of bullets, but actually he never uses at any one time very many. Let me just bring the XML up and show you a HUD real quick. And now we're going to look at that same pterodactyl and we're going to shoot. And what you'll see is that he has, I'm using a pool. And in this pool, I initialize both lists to empty. And the pool right now has 6 bullet eggs in it. And if I shoot one, watch what happens. As I shoot one, I move one from the pool into the bullet list. And this shows you several things. Number one, that I never use more than 6 bullets at a time. So I never need more than 6. So I can save a lot of allocations and deallocations, news and deletes, simply by using an object pool. Now I initialize the pool to 0, but you could initialize it to 6 eggs, 10 eggs, whatever you like, and avoid the overhead of creating them at runtime, and they're all ready to go. I prefer to just, I don't know exactly how many I'll use. So what I do is, the way this works, I check the pool. If there's a bullet in the pool, I move it into the bullet list and I start drawing it. And of course, you have to draw it in the exact right place. So as I shoot here, you'll see. And so I move a bullet from, I'm going to shoot one. I move it from here to here. And then as soon as it's done, it's gone. It's out of range. I put it back into my pool so I can reuse it. So a good motivation for using an object pool is it saves an awful lot of allocations and deallocations, which is exactly what it said on that Wikipedia page. Okay, so that's what it is, why we might want to use it. Let's look now at how we might implement an object pool. Okay, now we know what a bullet pool is. We have some reasons why we might like to use a bullet pool. Let's see how we might implement a bullet pool. And my explanation really is going to include just 2 classes. The player class, which contains the bullet pool, and the bullet pool itself, which I call multibullets.h. It's not a very good name. You should call these classes whatever you like. But anyway, this is the actual pool. The actual pool is, I call multibullets.h, multibullets.cpp. Okay, so let's look at the player and how it's involved. So really, a discussion of a pool, a bullet pool, also is going to include a discussion of shooting, because in our case, our usage of the bullet pool is to hold bullets, which is involved in shooting. So what I have here in my player is a shoot function. Where is it? Let me look for it. There it is, right in front of me. Okay, so here's a shoot function. And the shoot function is going to exploit the bullet pool, obviously. And I also want to, for my pool HUD is going to have an instance of the player, so I can ask the player how many bullets is he or she using right now. So here's the free count and the bullet count. How many bullets are actually in use, and this is the pool. The free count really is the pool. So all we need to talk about here is shooting, though. I mean, I happen to, I'm using composition. A player is composed of a lot of things, and one of the things it's composed of is a bullet pool. So I have a bullet pool down here. Where is it? Let me just see. There it is. Here's the bullet. Multi-bullets is the bullet pool, and I call it bullets. Okay, so that's really all you need to do. To use a pool, all you need to do, at least the way I've done it, is I've included the pool. Where is it here? Right here in the player class. So there's my bullet pool. And everything else really is either about reporting for my pool HUD or something else. But that's That's the bullet pull. So here's the bullet pull right here. We're going to talk about that next. But first, let's talk about shooting. Okay, so what happens with shooting? So we have this function called shoot. Let me find it again. Okay, there's the shoot function. Now, before I say that, I guess I got to talk about all the various frames of animation I have. I have frames for the pterodactyl going to the left but not shooting, frames for the pterodactyl going to the right, not shooting, frames going to the left while he's shooting, so his mouth, his stupid mouth is open and these dumb bullets or eggs are coming out, ridiculous. And then I have images for when he shoots to the right, and then his mouth is opening so they can come out to the right. But I always draw images. So that means I have to, this is just the way I've chosen to implement this. I always draw images, but I set images to whichever of these frames are relevant. So this is the way I've done it. You have to decide how you want to do it. But let's now look at the shoot function, which is the other probably interesting one. So what do I do in my shoot function? Well, first of all, I want to set the right frames. If the pterodactyl is shooting, then I got to use those, okay? So he's either going to be shooting right or he's shooting left. Now, I use this facing enum. So I have an enum facing up here. Where is it? Right here. And the reason I needed that, and you may be able to think of a better way to do this, is that when the pterodactyl is stationary and shooting, let me just show you. If he's stationary and shooting, I had a little trouble getting the right set of frames, so let me have it be left. And so you may be able to think of a better way to do it without this enum, but essentially these first four lines, this if, else, if here, these lines 88 to 92 are about getting the right frames of animation when the stupid pterodactyl is shooting. This right here, this part right here is simply getting the right velocity of the bullet and the position of the bullet, setting the velocity and the position. And I set I send those over. So this is the position of where the bullet should emanate from, which I set over in the bullet pool. And this is the velocity that the bullet should proceed at. Now, I don't really have that quite right. Let me prove to you that I don't have it right. Now, if he's moving and I shoot, it looks okay. But watch. If he shoots and then I start moving, you see that? If I shoot and then start moving, that looks weird. It's like the pterodactyl can fly as fast as a bullet. So, you know, that's something that I can adjust over here, and at some point maybe I will, but I'm mostly interested in just showing you how one might implement a bullet pool. Okay, here's the actual pool. So what does the pool consist of? Well, it has this bullet list, which is the bullets in use, and it has this pool, which I call a free list. So this is actually a pool. And once a bullet has gone too far, if it's in the bullet list, and it goes too far from the stupid pterodactyl, then I move it over to the free list. Now, what that distance is up to you to determine. I don't know what I have it set up. You can change it. And I also look for collisions here. So I have a collision strategy that I use because I might want to ask, did my bullet collide with something? And then I'll pass that something over here. So I have probably, I don't have it here. Yeah, collided. Or collided with. So I have a collided. And what I can do is I can pass into my bullet pool. Did my bullet hit this whatever drawable this is? So I also have that over here. Okay, now let's come over here to the interesting function. Here this is my constructor, and this is the name of the bullet, and what strategy am I going to use? And I can switch that as the program is running because I'm using the strategy pattern. But, you know, anyway, and here is the copy constructor, which I don't really need, and the rule of 0 would say delete that, so maybe I will. And here's the really important function, and it should be very obvious, this one. This is the shoot function. This is where I actually implement the bullet pool. This is the guts of the bullet pool logic. So if I want to shoot, I'm going to say, okay, I want you to shoot a bullet from this position at this velocity, which probably I need to work on a little bit because I showed you that little glitch. Okay, so what do I do? Well, is there a bullet in, is the bullet pool empty? If the bullet pool is empty, then I have to say, by the way, I'm using composition here and I should be using pointers, so that's something you should probably change. But at any rate, if the bullet pool, I'm saying, is the pool empty? If the pool is empty, make a bullet. Okay, make a bullet using the name of the bullet, whatever it is. Mine is probably some egg thing. And set that bullet to come from this position at that velocity and then pull it into the bullet list. Okay, so I'm actually, I don't have any bullets in my pool. So since the pool is empty, that's what I'm saying right here. The pool is empty, so I got to make a bullet. I would suggest you use new here instead of composition because there's a lot of copying going back and forth here. In fact, this should be an in place back actually. So then I would push it into the bullet list. If otherwise, if the free list is not empty, okay, if there's a bullet in the pool, then I come down here and I use it. So I get the bullet at the front of the list. Who cares? It's a list, so I can get it from the front or the back. I don't care. I get the bullet at the front of the list. I take it out of the bullet list. I reset the bullet so it has everything starts back to 0. It's not going to come at the wrong place. I set the velocity of the bullet, I set the position of the bullet, and then I put it in the bullet list so that I can draw. So when in my multi-bullets draw, I draw all the bullets in the bullet list. Okay, this is what I do. So if there's a bullet in the bullet list, I got to draw it. Okay, so you only draw the ones in the bullet list. So I just run through the bullet list and draw them. And in my update, I update the bullets in the bullet list, but I also have to check to see if they went too far. If they went too far, take them out of the bullet list, and basically that's it. So that's how you implement a bullet pool. I hope I haven't left anything out. If you're still a little bit confused about this, maybe ask some questions wherever place you can get a chance. But that's really how you implement a pool. The basic logic. I mean, there are certainly some implementation details you'll have to take care of, but that's it. Hey, happy programming, happy gaming. Brian Malloy over and out.